Hello and welcome to Digital and Social Media Marketing Week 2. This week we'll be focusing on web design. So we've got 4 different things to get through. First of all, we look at different web design philosophies. Number 2, conversion rate optimization. Number 3, the different elements of web pages. Number 4, the all-important landing page and what that means. So this week has the following intended learning outcomes, which means by the time you finish watching the lectures and you've done the workshop activities, you should know how to do these things. So first of all, the first one is utilize multiple web design philosophies to design and revise web pages to maximize conversion rates. And number 2 is identify a variety of web page elements that should be reviewed and decided upon when designing these web pages and how they go together. Number 3 is list the different dimensions of which an advertisement and a landing page should be able to match to encourage conversion rates. And number 4, describe the various types of landing pages, what they are and what we use them for. So that's the intended learning outcome. So we're going to start with the different web design philosophies. So now, the ultimate measure of the quality of a website's design is its ability to drive conversions. And we're talking about design. So often when we think about design, we think about aesthetics and how good it looks or how innovative it is and how creative and that stuff is. And that's all kind of cool. But at the end of the day, from a business perspective, the primary purpose of a website is to drive conversions. And if it looks good but doesn't drive conversions, it's not a quality website. So we need to keep that in mind. So to help with this, with designing good websites, we've got 5 design frameworks that we use. Now the first one is design for usability. The second one is conversion-centered design. The number 1 is 3 questions we ask ourselves to ensure that our web page is doing the right thing. Number 4 is segments, and then the last one is the concept of mobile first. So I'm going to go through each of these 5 in a little bit more detail. So the first one is design for usability. Now, to make websites more usable, it's best, or I should say it's best, but it's often best to follow website conventions. And these are things that are not rules or stuff, but it's just when you go to a website, what users would expect to find there. So if you go to close a box, you expect to find the close as a little X at the top right hand corner, right? Or if you go to a menu, you'll know where that is. Or if you want to navigate through the website, you'll know where the navigation bar is. All these things just make it easier for users to use your website because it follows these website conventions. The next one is to create effective visual hierarchies. Now by visual hierarchies, it's a design type thing. It's a design concept, and what it means is you want to think about what's the most important thing on your website. So hierarchy 1 is what's most important, and then hierarchy 2, what's next important. So, and then you want to design your page that the most important thing that you want to attract attention to is designed in such a way that it frames that up. So by the way that it's positioned, the size of it, the color, the contrast, all these different style things. And there's lots of literature and information to help you with that. We don't need to get, we're not graphic designers, but we need to know, the importance of that. So, and when you actually do get into the graphic design of websites, you'll understand how important that is. So you need to break up pages into clearly defined areas so that it's not all blended together and mishmashed together, and it looks like there's just a big dump of information coming through, right? That's not good as well. So when we design web pages, we've got clear segments, defined areas for different things. Make it obvious what's clickable. So if your conversion is a click-through thing, you need to make it abundantly clear that that's the thing you click. Right? I love it when you want somebody to click it and it pops out. It's got a border with a shadow on there and it's green. Click it to the next thing. How many times you've been filling out a form and you get stuck? It goes, oh, you haven't done something yet because there's a tiny little checkbox that you had to tick somewhere. So make it obvious what's clickable and the process and what you want them to go through. Eliminate distractions. Yes, there's a lot of things that you want to tell your customers, but a website is not the place to do that, especially not the landing page or the home page, right? What you want to do is go, what is the one thing we want to communicate, the most important thing, like that hierarchy, focus on that. All the other things should be optional extras. So it's not that you hide them, but it's not jumping out, it's not distracting them from the main purpose of it. And then last one, format content to support scanning. When we open up a web page, we do not read every single word. We look at it and we scan our eyes through it, right? So if that's what users do, we should be designing websites to facilitate that behavior. All right, so much point going, I want to design a website and I want my customers to read it, knowing full well, and the science shows us this, that customers don't actually read websites, they scan it, right? And by scan, I mean quickly, looking through it. Now, this concept of usability goes all the way back to the technology adoption model by Davis. So that's an important model that's still used today to help us analyze the usefulness of websites and the usability of them as well. Right, so that's point one. Point two is conversion-centered design. Now, this is a reoccurring theme coming through in this unit by now. So we talk about conversions. So the 7 principles of conversion-centered design, these have been promoted or been developed and published by this guy, Ollie Gardner, who's a practitioner and makes lots of websites. And these are the things that he uses. So first of all, attention. So if you want to get conversions, you need to make sure your website's getting attention. Next one is context. It needs to be framed in some context so you know what it means. Have you ever been to a website when you got there and you're not quite sure what the website's for? That they've got lots of pretty pictures and stuff like that, but you're just not sure why you're there. It's got no context. So clarity, congruence, that things come together, credibility. So you're thinking, hang on, is this a dodgy website? Am I getting scammed here? No, it needs to look credible, right? Closing, so it's clear on the process that you go through and what that closing, that call to action is. And then continuance. You don't want your customers to get lost in that decision or in that customer journey. So when they go through step 1, step 2, step 3, we talked a bit about this last week. If they're getting stuck between step 3 and step 4, then you've lost that continuance thing, right? And that continues all the way till you get to that final action that you want them to do. So that's conversion-centered design. This is one model that I'm presenting to you. I've got a picture on the next slide, I think. Yeah, cool. But there are others. I'm offering this one to you in this lecture to consider for website design. Now this bit here is the 7 principles. That's what we talked about. Now in here, we've got these full bars, but what you want to be doing is analysing the website and going, well, is the attention, is that generating delight? If it is, it's going to be up here. If it's causing friction, like if it's just not grabbing attention, it's going to be there. So if it's causing friction as they go through the conversion process, it's going to be there. And often in here, you'll have some websites that are really good on some things and really bad on other things. So this is one model that you can use to analyse the design of websites. Now, you should also be asking yourselves these three key questions about the design of your website. So first of all, what are you offering? Why should I pick you, or why should your customers pick you? And what do you want me to do next? Because whether customers or users on your website are aware of this or not, that's kind of what's going through their head, excuse me. And if you think carefully, these concepts directly relate back to the key marketing concepts of market offerings. So what are you offering? Is your market offering? And why should I pick you is differentiation in part of our positioning, right? So not how do our customers view us relative to competitors in the market. So what makes it different? And then what do you want me to do? Call to action, or sometimes I call it CTA. So the call to action, what do I do next? If it's not clear, if they get to the website, it's not clear what you want them to do, how do you expect them to do it? And you might be designing a website, well, it's clear, you click on that button there, or that one, it's yours. No, do your user test and go, is it clear? And step 4 is segments. Now, this is a little bit tricky because many businesses serve multiple segments. When we did principles of marketing, we did segmentation, targeting, and positioning, and we had to develop or analyze the marketing mix to see how these businesses actually use their marketing mix to achieve the desired positioning within the marketplace, all right? Now, when we do segmentation, we break up into those 4 key categories, demographics, behavioural, psychographics, and I've got the last one, just escaped my head at the moment. But we use those key 4 segmentation variables, right? Now we try and pick a primary segment in which to target. And we do that in principles of marketing. But through services marketing, consumer behaviour, we learn that a lot of businesses service multiple segments. So we might have a primary target market, But often we'll have, you might even have two primary segments, you know, like a business to business segment and a business consumer segment, and they're both important to your business, right? The problem that we have with web pages is usually our business has one landing page where all our customers come. So we need to use this one page to address the needs of all our segments. So addressing needs of only just one segment might fail to meet the needs of the other segments then. And we call that encroachment when you're stealing, you know, one segment stealing customers away from another segment. So conversion should appeal then to a variety of customers from different segments. So this is a little bit different to what we normally tell you in marketing, because often we'll say you develop a specific marketing campaign for that target market, and you've got one clear one for that segment and one clear one for that segment. But it relates back to the integrated marketing concept, where we have that that clear, concise, and consistent message going out. Right. So it's something to be very aware of, because if you've got complex segmentation, you're going to have to pay a lot of attention to this. Now, developing personas, I love this idea, to design the website to meet the needs of valuable segments. Now, what we do there, so if you work out who your segment is, so you might go, all right, I'm going to be selling, I'm just going to pick a random, I'm going to be selling, just say housing, right? I come from the construction industry, so we're going to be selling contracts to build new houses. So you'll go, all right, well, who, you know, what does our target market look like? So they might be middle-aged. There might primarily be mums and dads with children that are growing, so they've bought their first home, they're sort of growing out of their home, and they want the bigger place or whatnot. So they're in this. So you might go, all right, so my personas are Mary and John that are 35 to 40 years old, or get specific. So Mary's 35 and John's 40. They both have a job in that, and you actually build as if it's like a middle person for your segment. And the reason why we do that is because when we talk about target marketing, we use all these analytics to build like an understanding of of our different segments, to make sure that they're homogeneous and heterogeneous, but then we can lose the idea of who they are within all this data. So if you build this persona, it helps us to relate to that person. And it might not be an exact person, not everyone's going to be like that person, but it's the average person within that segment. And then websites can be customized using cookies to users from different segments to maximize their user experience, or UX, sometimes called. So in marketing, we often use CX. I love the word CX. In digital marketing, because it's not just marketing people doing digital stuff, it's also a lot of IT people and stuff. The term UX, like user experience, is used a lot. So I don't want you to get confused. I often call it CX, because consumer experience, because I'm from a marketing background, but because it's such a collection of fields of research, if you use user experience, it just, some people go, oh, if someone's coming to your website, they're not technically a customer yet, it's a user. So whatever, we're not going to argue with them. CX, UX, very similar concepts. All right, so we have here a persona. So so this is using cookies. So for our website. So if I go to, what's this? This is Disney Plus, right? So if I go to Disney Plus with my cookies enabled, I'm going to get a login going, who's watching? And we can go, oh, well, is it King Kev watching, or is it Marley Bianca, Johnny Two Sheds, King Joey, Lily Bell, or Taj, right? That's because cookies are enabled, and they know that when I go to Disney Plus, this is my account automatically logged in. So this is the existing customer of DisneyPlus.com. Now, if you're a potential customer, so if you haven't actually signed in, this is the home screen that you'll use for Disney Plus. So I took this screenshot a couple of weeks ago, so it might be outdated now already. But you can see the difference, right? Because they're not, you haven't paid for a subscription yet, so you don't have. So the cookies on your website would go, the cookies from the website that's stored on your computer would be going, take them to the landing page or the home page where it says, would you like to sign up? So this is entering, I'm going back now, entering www.disneyplus.com into your web browser. For me, who's got cookies enabled, who's a member of Disney Plus, or customer of Disney Plus, compared to when I put, I just went into, what was it called? The discrete mode where cookies are disabled in there. So you can see then we've got two segments in here. So I'm going to go back a couple slides here. We talked about the difficulty of addressing the needs of one segment and failing to meet the needs of other segments. This is one way that you can do it using cookies so that existing customers get one screen and potential customers get a different screen. That way you can service the needs of both segments with the same, when they do the same URL. All right, number 5 is mobile first. Now, the idea of this is websites should primarily be built for mobile phones first and then adapted for computer screens. Now, this is different because usually web pages are built on computers for computers, but the mobile phones are becoming so popular. A total of 5.44 billion people use mobile phones, which is 68% of the total global population. And I've got a link to this digital report in there, which is not coming up, but basically it's saying so many people are using mobile now, so it's not more than websites, but so many people using mobile, we have to do mobile first. So responsive web design, RWD, automatically adjusts for different text screen sizes. Now, what you can do to try this out is you can try Facebook on mobile or PC. So there's the same one. So one is M Facebook, the other one is M Basic Facebook. So if you type in www.facebook or just type in facebook.com, you'll get one website. If you type in mfacebook.com, you'll actually get the format. I don't want to do it because I'm logged in and you'll see my Facebook page. But try those ones and see what it looks like. This is an example of a website without responsive web design. This comes from w3schools.com, where they teach people how to program websites. See how the text stretches across, so then it looks all horrible on a mobile phone. Whereas this one is designed, so it's responsive. So if you look on a screen, it adjusts the web page for a screen. If it's for on a mobile, it'll adjust it for a mobile. So the idea is, I don't think I've got it in here, but the idea is it's easier to design for a mobile website first and then expand it out to a screen than to compress it from a big screen into a tiny mobile phone. Right, yeah, so here's the report that I was talking about. This is from January 2020, so it's the latest one. It talks about 8.8 billion people are urbanised, so live in like urban areas. 5.4 billion unique mobile phone users, 5.16 billion internet users. Now, the switch on people go, oh, hang on, there's more people with phones than internet. So you're talking about how important phones are for internet. Yeah, so that's true because there's going to be some people that have phones that don't use the internet. But the idea is there's so many people with phones and so many people on the internet. The vast majority of them are using mobile phones on the internet. And then 4.7 billion people using social media or active social medias. So that's 60% of the population. So we're talking massive figures here. All right, so that's it for the first section. I'm going to stop it now and I'll start in the next one.